Hi, everybody.
Hiya!
We might have been live for like 30 seconds, and I have no clue.
No, it says we've been live for 9 now.
Okay, perfect. Mine says 45. Who cares? We're live. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to TidalWave. My name's TJ,
And I'm Calvin.
and we're going to be talking about new beginnings today.
New beginnings. We'll be talking about moons,
Conversations,
locations,
thinking.
and administration.
Sit back, join the conversation as we talk about new beginnings.
Welcome to TidalWave, a whole new level of entertainment and showbiz experiences. Knowledge, culture, influence, and art. Our conversations will leave nothing off the table. We'll make a wave with our stories and give you the insights you want and need. So prepare to catch the wave and go with the flow. Please welcome your hosts, TJ Tacurio and Calvin Cooper.
Hi there. We're back. I know. What you guys are saying is, gosh, we really have missed seeing these two doing this. I know. We are coming back to give you what you want. We have a new topic today. If you missed the intro, we're talking about new beginnings.
Yes, we're going to be talking about spirituality connected to the moon.
Yes, we're having conversations, new conversations this year.
New conversation. Some of us might have some new locations.
Correct. We'll talk about thinking, how we're thinking in new and innovative ways.
And then we'll definitely be chatting about the administration, the past, the present, and the future.
Ding, ding. So we were going to do this a couple weeks ago. Calvin and I had planned all of these podcasts out without even realizing what date they were going to land on, okay?
Yeah.
So this is our seventh episode, and we planned to do Hi Michonne. Oh.
Wait, because I literally just, that's not what, I forgot to tell you.
Oh, hi Michonne. We had planned to do this New Beginnings episode on November 4th.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We didn't quite have a new beginning yet. So Calvin and I opted to wait because Tuesday, November 3rd, lasted 5 days.
It strongly did.
So in comparison, it's now only Tuesday of the next week because it's been Tuesday forever. That one lasted so long. I had so much so much stress. I was stress eating. I was going crazy. We're part of this wonderful, wonderful text group. If anybody ever needs support coast to coast, they need to get themselves a friend group in Facebook. I tell you, it helps you so much to get through all of these things. We were all over the place, and we were watching different shows. We were calculating numbers. We were in different locations, and we managed to get this all going together. So, and that's what happened on November 4th. We were supposed to do this, and we didn't get to. What happened, Calvin?
I was like, well, first of all, what happened was this. We watched an election.
Yeah.
We watched the results. We watched each other panic and regroup our faith, and we tested on all levels. That's where we had the discussion. I was like, should we do this episode? And at first we were like, yeah, but I was like, even for the both of us, I was like, we would start this and still be just like, what they say, what they call. Like, I was like, there's no need. I mean, part of me does feel like, why did we expect anything less with 45 being involved, that it was going to be smooth? But like, we did not expect it to go this long, and it did test a lot of people. Like, we're just like, but that's why that's why I love that we're going to be talking about like faith and spirituality and like perseverance and stuff like that, because, I love that our group, when they're like one of us starting to get iffy, the way that we would know when to hold each other, when to drop those bits of inspiration, drop those moments. Sometimes when you just drop and listen. Like, it was such a great safe space. So I just, that's what happened. Then we were like, when should we do it? We're like, we'll know when it feels right. But we also then again didn't expect November 4th to go to like November 11th. Like,
yeah.
So.
And with that planning in mind, we were gonna do it that Sunday, but still we were kind of on this like crazy like mental high because we were uncertain than we were certain. So if anybody's watching it, I know it's been rough on both sides of the aisle, but I mean we're talking about numbers, statistics that we know, facts that we're from. This is not we're guessing anymore. We've been shown the results. If anybody has an opinion about it other than that, please chime in. We're happy to discuss it. But we know, we've seen the results. We waited. Everybody's waited in anticipation. And that's why we chose, even that Sunday, we decided not the time. We were just getting over this. We saw kind of an acceptance speech. We kind of saw togetherness. And it was like the first day that I could actually like close my eyes without opening them every 30 minutes, thinking what's going to happen. And that was my initial thought with this whole entire thing. We discussed in previous episodes about, being gay and having pride. And that was very much on the line for this. And a lot of people out there watching know that was something that was definitely on the line. And that was Michonne. Yeah, we were all crying. We were all crying together. We were all panicking together. We were basically holding our breaths for 5 straight days.
Yeah. Honey, I mean, we were holding everything, faith, breath, like new religions, new practices. Like when I tell you, I have never, but you know what I did find, and I'm not afraid to say this, I found it hard to not drop to their level of thinking in the sense of like darkness, like staying dark. It's very much like Hunger Games. And when I hope this ain't no spoiler around this time, but of like reading Hunger Games or watching the movies and learning about District 13 and then like watching we really had to hold each other too, because yes, there's moments of that you find yourself being like, I hope they do get sick. I hope they get sick. But then you go, but I hope you get sick so you don't die, because you just need to know that this is real, because a lot of them, a lot of people who are trying to push the hysteria and push the conspiracies, but they're also, in a way, they are removed. They literally do not know. And it's just like the fact that we're watching MAGA and we're watching Black Lives Matter events, and you're seeing how the spikes are not happening in Black Lives Matter events, but they're happening at MAGA events. But the whole purpose of Black Lives Matter, is for, like, we were all about taking care of people and taking care of each other, where that's all they looked at was but you're also not noticing that we're practicing, keeping our masks on, hand sanitizing stations, volunteers were there to hand out water, to, just picking up the it was a different experience where you have one side that literally just was like, everything is a hoax, everything is a lie. And what I found just annoying is just the level of ignorance that we literally have to watch. You literally are watching. Do you know, I saw a picture that had Black men wearing Black Lives Matter shirts, wearing Make America Great Again hats. And I'm trying to find the explanation. Like,
well, you know what? Sometimes that explanation's not there. Yeah, and Rashawn, we are District 13. We're feeling you.
Oh, yes. There it goes.
We're District 13. Yeah, I know.
It popped up on my screen. Did I tell you this? Mine never pops up.
Well, I did it for you. I popped it up for you.
Oh, you think you're so smart.
Oh, yeah, definitely, for sure. But let's discuss the new beginning of all of this. So we get a new president, and we get a new female vice president.
The first Black Greek sorority, and you know that she is very pretty. I can't do all the sign stuff because I'm not part of AKA, but shout out to all the AKAs out there. Shout out to the Divine Nine. Shout out to
awesome, right?
Like, girl, like, first of all, I love that there was a what do you call them? An anchor that was like after round 1, 2, 3, and 4 of Biden winning each round, they were like, you can never, just know from this moment on, you can never not hear it from a bison from Howard or not hear it from an AKA. I reached out to my friend, shout out to Christia. I was like, I want to see y'all party stroll. I want to see every AKA. I cannot wait to see how bliggity black with class. But these pictures of the Divine Nine, like on the grounds in the Rose Garden, taking photos, like we are literally our ancestors' dreams and some of their worst nightmares. Like,
and you know what I think is the best about this is it's a great learning tool for the youth. You know, it is great to have a woman, first of all, are in this position, being a person of color.
yeah.
And it helps not only little girls, but also little boys. I saw this conversation online, and it was discussing how this is not just necessarily important for little girls to see themselves in this, but little boys to see how powerful women can be and the respect level that they can possess in those positions.
Exactly. I mean,
it's quite an important new beginning for all of us, especially that up and coming generation. Yeah.
I mean, one of the things I'll say, like, especially for me, you know, I'll say I was blessed to grow up in a single parent home, because watching my mother like come into her own as she was raising us. Like, my mom was 22 when she had me. She had her children at 18, 20, and 22. You know, the sacrifices that came with that, you know, but just watching is like putting that together. Like, Kamala represents my mom, represents that figure that is not bound to a genitalia to say it's a powerful position. It's not bound to the color of her skin, you know, saying that she can't achieve anything. I remember, like, the first thing that I really knew of my mom was magic was when she was 35 and she told us by 36 she was getting a house. And we're like, okay. And we were living with our grandma. My grandma was doing like, and when I tell y'all, it better be safe enough to say this now. I mean, there better be no repercussion. But I think I spoke about it a couple episodes back. But we are one of those kids where my mom, you know, we were using my grandma's address to go to a certain school. But the thing about it was we were staying there part-time, but it wasn't our address once my mom's house was being built. But, you know, looking at her teach us these things and show us how to navigate through the world. So watching Kamala do the same thing, and to actually, all tea, no shade, have a vice president who you want to see, who you want to hear from, who has a track record of good, and, you know, and what I say is good and some things that we may not agree with, but she helps us see things on both sides. That is not just only her idea. No, it is literally, she's about the community. Like, so you start to learn. And I was like, heck yeah, like, it is amazing. And it kind of feels back to back, which is beautiful. Like, first having a Black first lady, and then the next thing we see is our next woman, you know, fighting for the presidency, to here we are having a woman in the vice presidency. That there, and, you know, and then you bring all of her culture, like, and that's what I was trying to tell people, especially Black folks, about, like, 23andMe, genealogybank.com, and ancestry.com, is what is this Black that you're protecting besides the American Black? See, this is a Black woman who knows her whole culture. So there's more than just Black that she's bringing. She's bringing, you know, a blended family. She's bringing, you know, first of all, she's bringing experience. When she said, I am the only person who's prosecuted somebody on this stage, like, I'm so excited because she has that. She has.
You know what? When she made that comment, to me, it was one of those comments that your mom makes, you know?
That was the warning.
And everybody, this is my stance with all of it too. I was thinking about it. Everybody was born from a woman. You know, we have yet to find a way to hatch a human egg outside of a womb. So there is that motherly instinct that everybody has. You might not have grown up with a mom, but everybody was born from a woman.
Yeah.
So that's that motherly instinct that's like that's in there. And I saw that and I said, oh, this is how we know too that we're snapped back into this, you know, and for so long, for so many generations, this position was held by a man. And we now have broken that chain, and we now can make this normal.
Yeah. Well, because that's the thing. It's like
and that's true. Hold on a second. Sorry. Michonne says, make it normal. We now have broken that chain of white males holding this position, and now this is the new normal for all of them.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not just a she; it's a she of color. It's a she of other experience that 45 other people before her didn't have.
Well, that's because white men created this position. And they love to create things to keep other people out. That's the one thing that I notice a lot of those kind of people, the oppressors and suppressors, is that, you know, they created positions, they created clubs to keep us out, you know, and literally it's they created the position to keep us out.
But here's the thing. We got to that level. People of color, minorities, we've gotten there. We've gotten to that position, and this is the time when we finally saw the full flip of all of that.
And the thing about it, though, is that I say that in a way, she still had to live up to the old expectations for the new rules. You feel me? It's like, I remember in social studies and all that stuff, like when we were in school, how, you know, at a time to be president, you had to be white. You had to be at least 35. You had to have held a government office, like position or whatever you want to call it. Like, I remember reading that. And then I remember like the first like, ooh, was like JFK, who wasn't Christian, but he was Protestant, if I'm correct. Like, and that was a big hoopla. But then you also see where I tell folks, democracy here is white hypocrisy, because I think it's funny that you got folks who still idolize and worship JFK for the right reasons, but they bash him about being a whore. But then you got folks like Bill Clinton, who's a whore, and he's held to a different whoring standard. And the only reason why I feel like he was definitely held to a different whoring standard is because they called him the first black president. That's that shit. I was like, no, he ain't the first black, because he ain't black. I don't care if he could play the saxophone. But you started to see how these rules are changeable for white men only, because I guarantee you, if Kamala didn't have her degrees and have her positions, we'd be fighting ourselves again, going, then what woman would be perfect? What woman, you know what I mean? Because you got this president who had none of the previous requirements, you know, like no job, no experience.
And I think that's the dart and the target for her, is the experience. And that's what she kind of banked all of it on. Yeah. And I'd be interested to find out, people that are watching, if you ever saw yourself being president. And that's, I think, a fault of mine. I never saw myself being president because I never looked like these people.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you now, when the teachers would always tell us that in school, I was like, I don't want no damn president. I remember, it's like, because again, when you're black and you're learning about slavery and your entire classroom starts to look at you to see how you respond, like, what's that like? It's like, it was like a double, you literally see it's like I told folks, the indoctrination of us works so well that when I was going home to my grandma's house and sitting with my big mama, and she was born in 1911, but not putting two and two together. Yeah. Of when I'm learning about Jim Crow laws, I could talk to her truly about experience. And well into my grandparents being born in 38, my mom being born in 64, I can ask her about growing up in the civil rights movement. Like, you know what I mean? And I never put two and two together. There was a meme thing, or I mean, not a meme, but it was a clip from someone's like Twitter or Instagram that said, we need to start putting the pictures from the civil rights movement in color, so we can
Yeah.
we can get it out of our mind that it was thousands of years ago when it was in the 1960s.
Correct, and that was the Martin Luther King photos and the documentation that they have of that.
Yeah,
For sure. I saw that last night in my sleepy self before I went to bed. I saw that.
yeah.
But also, this is a new beginning of thinking too. And Michonne brought this up as well. She just commented, I can't wait for the day when no one has to come out or say they're a blank American or that they have to identify with the blank. We're getting there, you know? And because we're in this position, 45 full generations. Some are 2 terms, some are 1 term, 4 years long. We have to wait every single time. Granted, Pete Buttigieg is doing so much right now, could be, will be a great contender soon.
Mm-hmm.
But because he had to come out, everybody for a second time and say, yes, I'm gay. This is my partner. The stakes seem askew for him.
Well, that's because for some odd reason, when you're homosexual, it matters who you sleep with. But when you're straight, you can get married 4 or 5 times and be the first one out here talking about the sanctity of marriage.
Yeah, absolutely. Why? And it's been great seeing Pete on this pathway that's been pretty direct with a lot of people. Like he's no joke with it. He's coming full force with the truth, you know?
Yeah, because he's tired.
Yeah, he's tired of having to replay that whole oh, because you're gay sort of situation. No, these are the information. These are the facts. Kamala did the same thing when she did that debate. No, I'm the only person here qualified to give this information.
Mm-hmm.
So because you're not qualified, you don't have a right to say anything.
Mm-hmm.
And we decided 5.4 million people more than the other side have decided that those voices are qualified to now take.
Ooh, their leader said, I know more than science. Okay. And they believe it.
And this brings us to our next point. Making things normal. Science. We're in this place of having to think differently, have new beginnings. This is our new normal.
Yeah, we're back to having to prove that the world is round and not flat.
Yeah. But because the management of this pandemic has been so skewed, we have a new normal. We have new ways of thinking. We have to have different conversations. We have to put ourselves in different places because of where we're at now.
Yeah.
Robin, we are in November. Everybody, this is November. We're almost 8 months past this. Yeah. Where we thought, oh, we'll be out of this in June, tops, July, May, June passed, July, blink, blink, next. August.
Because the only thing that matters to this administration is white power. This is where they're going to have to go back and be covert and have to come up with a new plan because the system, this democracy was set on white power. And the reason why education matters is because think about it, as the internet gets faster and we get more rights, you're forcing them to live up to what they say. That's why it's I told everybody today, period, that the work is never done. The work is never done because the moment that you stop, you realize. But it's one of the things I was trying to tell people though, because I went on live earlier on my Instagram because I was trying to just nip something in the bud because everyone gives me the I love the way you talk kind of stuff. But I told them I was your privilege comes in the moment you start being lazy. And the way I was saying that is because I said, I'm a Black gay man. Okay, you're a person of color who's a homosexual as well. So name a president, an era, a time where our rights were never on the debate floor. I have never had these unalienable rights that they claim. They're white people's rights. I mean, you don't know, and I say not you, but they don't get it when we have to sit and listen to them going that my grandfather was in World War II. I'm like, yeah, so was ours, but ours was being hung after we came back to fight for your white rights, because that's what it is. We're not even fighting for American rights at this moment anymore because you said we're not American. And what they're not thinking is, why is this important? Because if we are living by their logic, I can't fight for this country, but I'm supposed to love it. So I'm not allowed to be in the army. I'm supposed to love it. I'm not allowed housing, but I'm supposed to love being here. I'm not allowed the right to protect my castle, but I'm supposed to love being here. I'm not allowed to get married, but I'm supposed to, like, you know what I mean? It's like, then what the hell? Like, y'all brought me here. Y'all brought my ancestors here, but then you forget too that we share the same ancestors when your fathers kept fucking our mothers. So I'm where is this lineage of the family name matters? Where is our 48? There's so much to unpack where it's like, I don't get that they follow someone who came here from, who was immigrant, the result of immigration. Like his mother was Scottish born. 45's mother was Scottish born. And it's like, your wives are, and it is, there's that joke that I heard that said, if we really did the immigration the way that Trump's talking about, then who's going to marry him? Because all of his wives, but then we clearly saw the 55% that would.
Yeah, not 55%, but let's not get 55. 55% did not.
I know, that's like, and that's actually, that's not even the whole thing. Cause like I was saying on my thing too, cause I have to fight Democrats still who also believe that I should be dead just cause I'm gay and they're Democrats.
Well, let's switch this. Let's get this new beginning going, okay? So because we're on to a new administration, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not saying that we have to forget what happened, but we can think forward now.
Oh, always.
We know come January 20th, we have a new beginning, right?
Mm.
We have new ideas.
Come January 20th, I'm going to purposely, and I'm saying it now, I won't be saying 45. I won't be saying Trump. I'm going to literally choose.
That's us moving forward, right?
That is us.
There's going to be people that are going to move. They're going to stay stagnant. We're going to move forward because we have different things. There's still a lot of, like you said, you brought up a great point. There's still a lot of fight to be had in Georgia. If any of your political followers, Georgia is still up with the air and Senate seats. So there's going to be a couple runoffs. If you have people in Georgia, have them vote. This is going to be the deciding factor in the Senate. So get out there, do what you can, hound Georgia. We all know when it was political season, you got the text, you got the flyers in the mail, you got the emails.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine
but now
they're going to keep going.
Yeah, but now with this, we have a bigger batch of people because there are people who are turning 18. So we have, so that's what's so exciting though, but we already know, I mean, yes, we're going to stay on top of them. You know, I have tons of friends who do their phone banking. I have family in Henrietta, in Macon, in Atlanta, like, you know, so I'm already like, you know me, I love a FaceTime. I want to see your face so I can watch what you say. Like, but that's what's also brilliant is because one, yes, we know that Georgia is going to flip blue. It's going to, when they do it again, but now we really got to fight to keep it and then fight for that Senate seat. And now we will have more backing, but we just have to keep that fire because again, it's like I tell folks, I go, when you decide to be lazy, just stop saying lazy and say privilege. That's when your privilege kicks in. You think that it's done. And that's why we've been trying to definitely think Black women, because we owe them nothing. And there was like, I saw this post that said,
what? It's false. We owe them a lot.
No, they owe us nothing. Excuse me. Thank you. They owe us nothing. Thank you. We owe them everything. They save us from ourselves. And I saw this post that was talking, it was this white woman. I have to find it and send it to you. But she was talking about, she was like, we need to thank Black women, especially since the 1930s and 40s, because white women at that time were addicted to depression, pills, and alcohol. And she was like, behind every white household was a Black woman holding that house together, making sure that mother doesn't break while she's being abused, while she's being treated less than because she's Black. But yet, it's like, that's why it's like I said, I don't want to see any more slave movies. I don't want to see any more movies like The Help, because at this point it's like, how many examples do we have to give y'all that this is just fucked up? and it's time to stop. You know what I mean? It's like, it's time to actually go back to caring for everyone.
But without the help, I will say, Octavia Spencer.
Well, yeah, but you know why I'm about that is because I'm
so good in that.
the only reason why many don't
So
know
good.
chicken, honey. No, but the only reason why I'm over it is that every time that we do stuff like that, you notice how much we have to keep fighting white saviorism. We're like, this part didn't happen. The director added this, and he even said, you know, how many times do they keep putting in what white people should do? And you see the willful ignorance that people watch The Help and they go, no, that bathroom scene did happen. No, it didn't. What did happen of the bathroom scene was that she was running a mile back and forth across campus in heels. Okay.
That's not The Help.
I mean, not The Help. That's now Hidden Figures.
Correct.
But see, I'm mixing them all up. But
What?
still,
That, I mean, those actresses were fantastic.
because it's real. I mean, you talking about Hidden Figures, the scene at the end when she's helping them get that man back from space. And they put her in the room. She wasn't allowed in the control center. They don't tell you that. They actually do not tell you that she literally did do it on her head. She literally was on the phone outside the control center because she was a Black woman, not allowed in there. So it's like, because you know, this is that shit that why it bothers me. Because imagine if she didn't get the calculations right. You know, she would have been the scapegoat. She would have been the scapegoat. They would have found some way to put her in jail. They would have found some, like, you know what I mean? And so it's like, I don't want to hear any more stories that have white money and white hands in it without it coming from the family, coming from, you know, we need to be telling our own stories.
Tyler Perry's doing a great thing out in Georgia.
Tyler Perry's doing yes and no, because Tyler Perry's on the no working list for equity because he doesn't, there's been some allegations that he doesn't pay his writers and things like that. He's on our no.
Let it work through because he may be doing better things for that story.
Oh, I mean, of course. I mean, shout out to that man doing what he's doing. But it's like I tell everybody too. It's like, but you're only but so far removed. Because I was watching what is it? The Off Book podcast, and they were talking about that. They was like, for the Black people who do manage to get there and get their LLCs, don't stop the work. And that's what happens. It's like there's a way that sometimes your privilege comes in. Now you became privileged. You've got an access to a certain privilege. So that's why I was speaking today on my live about the work actually doesn't stop because you have to be on post, because there's people even in my circle. Like I said, I was like, I can't believe I had to get on Instagram because the last 2 weeks with all of the 7 days of Tuesday, I'm still having non-hued friends having issues with the word nigga. And I'm like, why am I catching you? Why am I thinking? Why do you question? You know, but we think that because at some moment when they got Biden drunk, the guard went down and they went back into these, you know, these little things. And I was like, we got work to do at all times.
I think work is a good situation. Let's transition all of this. I remember I told you before, I have something to tell you.
You're pregnant!
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Scapegoat. No one else to blame. Guess what Tiare told me today?
That those poi balls got mailed and they came back?
Boom. She's finished with them. So I don't want to hear it no more. But where are you moving to?
So I am taking a hiatus. I won't even say I'm moving.
No. Whoa. It's not you're not taking a hiatus. This is part of the new beginnings, right?
This is the new beginning. Well, this is because here's the thing. This is why I say it the way I do, because words are very powerful. I am not moving into. I am taking a winter break because we're taking a winter break. I will be heading to Virginia, Williamsburg, Virginia, to my mother's house. Because it's like I like to tell folks, you know, a lot of folks find, you know, heading home as like a dark thing. But I literally practice looking for the blessing. You know, the blessing may not look.
Or is your friend Amy Elizabeth?
Huh? Amy Elizabeth is on?
Yeah, she's on. She says hi. Hi, beautiful. Okay, there's only singular beautiful Amy. So I'm gonna go with that was for Calvin.
Thank you. Of course, because she don't know you.
Becca's on as well. Hi, Becca.
Hi, Becca. But I was saying, I'm going to Virginia just to recalibrate, because you know, one, talking about new locations. As y'all see, I've changed the background. Even the wall has been coming down.
Oh,
There's a few.
it breaks my heart because Vogue was so fun.
Unbreak my heart.
Amy, you don't have to apologize. It's okay. Beautiful.
See, well, I'm gonna have to see. This is what I've been trying to do. I be having to tap. Dang, 17.
Boom.
Beautiful,
Yes,
love you all.
on your computer. That's why it's on. You turn on your computer.
How do I access it on my computer?
New beginnings. Learning your technology, everybody.
Yes, but wait, cause see, look, I'm on Facebook, but where
I can't look. I can't see. There's people watching us. Yeah. So Calvin has been asking me for new play balls. And I
see it.
Oh no, he like finally left. Oh no, come back. Join the conversation again. So where we are at, Calvin is coming back finally. He decided to leave and come back. You're muted. You're muted.
Hello.
Hi.
No, I said you said learn new technology, and I was like, ha, X.
Yes. Wyatt, hi.
Oh, hi, Wyatt.
Hi, boo boo.
Hey, baby.
Baby.
So,
toy balls are done, and I'll mail them to your
mother's house.
Yeah.
And I got nothing but yard. And when I tell you, I've already been looking at videos, but see, here's the thing now. Don't think it stops at just me getting poi balls, because when I tell you I'm trying to learn your culture, I want to learn, because I love poi. You know, on the first contract I've done for that I did for Holland America, there was the poi ball section, and I love poi. I'm good at anything that's hand-eye coordination. I'm on it. So, but also I was like, as much as sorry, I was just like, as much as I be calling you pineapple papaya, like, that just popped in my head.
Calvin and I speak very candidly when there's nobody else around. I'm sure that all of you have your friends that you speak candidly to. Agree or disagree? Tell me in the comments. Do you speak candidly to your friend and you call them something inappropriate?
Amy says she put an alert. No, she didn't. Oh, I loved it. But yeah, so one of my little
Calvin and I have such a fantastic, in-depth, enlightening conversation when we catch up. Yeah, so do we, Amy Elizabeth. And we decided we were just gonna put it on like on live.
No,
because
you would love Amy Elizabeth. That baby, she is also a hoot.
But let me tell all of you. So Calvin has been saying, "Where's my play balls?" Calvin's also been saying he's going to mail me a fan.
First of all,
my house has not changed. I have two of them, my mom and mine.
But you know what changed? My financial situation. Okay, so them $5 to send that fan, all of a sudden said, "Hold on."
My finances said, "Hold on." I love it.
But no, I'm excited because it also gives me a chance, because what do we talk about? You know, what is it? The Mary Monarch competition? Is that what it is? Like,
yeah.
Like, but that's the thing. It's like, so just so everybody know, like, my fascination is more than just like, oh, I think this is so cool. Let me like just learn this and call it a new fad. But no, I was like, I actually sat with myself. There's this moment, and I was just like, I want to learn so much more about you, TJ, because you definitely know about me. I mean, you met Sharon. So, you know what I mean? So it's just like, I don't really know much about, you know, your full background besides our cute little candid names and some of the things that we say to each other. Like, you know what I mean? So it's just like, I'm excited because now that means I'm gonna be learning from you, because baby, it's beautiful to connect with you and to understand and to learn. Because, you know, I only learned poi as a form of entertainment when I first learned it, but it was so well done, and the way that, you know, like I shout out to Stiletto, like I said, you know, I love that was it Rob with the mustache?
Keith, yes.
Yeah, Grandpa Rob.
Yeah.
Rob. Like when they would
not Daddy Rob. Not Daddy Rob. Take that back.
Some people are into that. If you into it, I'm into it.
Not for Rob.
Well, I like them tall, sweet, and thin. Okay, like a thin mint. Okay, but I love that before we learned anything.
How dare you with the thin mint?
But I loved how before we learned anything, we always got the behind, you know, the backstory. We got the understanding. We got where the essence from. So to actually have a Hawaiian and a Tahitian friend and it to understand what it's like, because you also have gone through, your people have gone through so much as well. So it's another way to learn and to connect. And you know what I mean? Like, girl.
And I've told you this on a different podcast, is that I'm like the worst Hawaiian Polynesian ever.
You say that.
And it's a thing, you know, and I admit it. I'm not the best Polynesian, but I know a few things. So learning with you is probably the best way of doing this. But learning new things, you discussed that we're in a new moon.
Oh, yes. You know, because first of all, there's so much power in the moon, but so much power in the new moon, and like learning how to harness your power and using that. I mean, because the moon representing wisdom, intuition, illusion, you know, spirituality itself is like, normally you see that like essence of the circle, the moon and the sun. You know, it's like what Beyonce said, I charge my crystals in a full moon and I clean them in the sun. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, so with the new moon, it was really great. I was telling you, as I got into tarot more and connecting that way, I celebrated with two of my friends yesterday, the new moon. And
tell, if anybody's watching right now, if you're watching, tell me if you felt different in the weeks previous before the new moon. Was the new moon started 2 days ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
2 days ago. So previous than 2 days to now, did you feel a difference? Because we're going to discuss this. Calvin and I had a deep conversation about this while I was driving on the highway. But continue.
Yeah, but that's why, see, and exactly like talking about starting new with this new moon, that's why it's like I had to also explain to some friends. That's why I came back on Instagram live to discuss some things, to unpack some things, because the vibration from the new moon itself, it was like, it's time to start new. And when it was getting frenzied, I laid a lot of stuff out. So with that came in also healing. It also came in understanding. It came in like the tides itself that the moon controls. It's like, it was deep. Girl, I'm deep as a puddle, girl.
Becca says she feels lighter.
Yes, girl, come on.
You feel lighter now. Becca, tell us, do you feel lighter now? Because I might side with you on this one, because we had that conversation today. Calvin and I had a conversation today, and I felt like my vibrational instinct was higher. Mm-hmm. Like I got maybe lighter. I thought that now, yes, yeah. Now, after the new moon, I feel like my vibrations picked up. And I feel like I'm on a new level of finding myself within projects that I didn't necessarily see myself with, or that I could handle or find myself in. I'm finding more joy in them. I'm finding myself lifted a lot more.
Do you hear what you just said? Do you remember your reading?
Hold on 1 second. I watched the new moon, and we have a meteor shower in the UK tonight. 50 stars an hour. Wow, Amy. That's great. I've been watching it tonight. It's so beautiful. I absolutely felt less anxious 100%. I could totally agree with that, Amy. And Becca, yeah. Totally feel lighter. Completely transformed.
Mm-hmm.
And you and I had a reading.
Yeah, we had a reading. And what you're saying,
Calvin, with our friend Casey.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I did. And see, that was so great. Oh wow, I did 2 and 2. Ooh. Okay, I'm gonna have to. Ooh. I be telling you, it's like, you want to talk about feeling vibrations. Like I get the shivers. I feel when I really harness my power, when I open myself up and I keep myself open. You know, it's like. You can literally feel, you feel the new moon energy. That's why it's like today, like I said, I was like, let me explain some things, because, you know, a lot of people were also trying to figure out what they were feeling angsty about and what was this energy. And it was a letting go. And so, doing a spiritual bath to cleanse or to manifest, there's so many different ways. This is why I love spirituality, is that there are practices, but there is nothing that makes it ever feel so concrete that you must and you must and you must. It's like, no, it's about being connected to the energy, being connected to the divine. It's like I told everybody, it's like, I think it's brilliant that, for instance, for those who believe in God and will also say that God is so infinite and made all these languages. And I said, you have to tap into understanding that then there are many multiple ways of manifesting and opening and creating, because if everything was created by energy, then everything can be a vessel. Anything you believe in can be a vessel. You know what I mean? I was explaining to my friends, that some people journal. Some people don't realize when you're journaling, it's manifestation. But it's like one of the things I tend to tell y'all is that when you're a warrior, when you are just always that's another form of manifestation. You have harnessed your power to create the bad thing you want to happen. It's like how often I tell everybody who are in relationships that come to me to try to have an understanding of and I go, well, if you're saying that he or she ain't gonna do nothing but cheat on me and well, then you are constantly casting doubt. You are constantly looking for it. And when you find it, you should be happy because you have manifested what it is you're looking for. That's what I tell everybody. So I go, don't worry, pay attention to the signs, but you should also make sure that in this, you're cleansing yourself. You're being at peace. So use this vibration where I tell a lot of folks, sometimes you don't even realize you've unpacked, which is why I said earlier when you were going, I feel this way. And I was like, listen to what you're saying, because you knew what was happening at your reading. And it is talking about how you have been finding more happiness in new things that we didn't consider to be the work, but we are working. You feel me?
Yeah. And Amy is saying something that I want to bring up as well. During the whole pandemic, with working in emergency service people are very important with what's happening right now. And it's so unbearable. My anxiety has been uncontrollable. And although I feel anxious, it feels like I'm able to control it, and it's not controlling me. It's a very good point, Amy. Thank you so much for bringing up that, because emergency services are so important. My sister actually works in the health services department as well. And they were going through it, and it's, we see you, we hear you, we feel you, we're alongside with you, and we understand here, you and I both side with science. We know that if you feel like wearing a mask is disservicing you, then you're part of the issue, And it's hard to say that there's no other way behind that. But harnessing your power is something I totally agree with. And the harnessing your power has allowed me within the last day and a half to realize I'm doing better. I can do better. And that's allowed me to say, hey, listen, I'm going to harness my power. I'm going to use my podcast because, Calvin, and everybody out there knows, I have a podcast, Entertainment and Showbiz Experiences. I wanted to harness my power for good. I've never I want to give the information to people, and I want to bring people on for my next series, and I want it to be about new beginnings. How are people beginning again? Because it's hard to always stress, hey, listen, we're in a pandemic. We know we're all in the same spot. How are we going to advance in a new beginning? So my next season is going to be new beginnings. So everybody's going to be having a new beginning, talking about how to come alive again. So that's an exclusive for us. That's something I haven't even talked to you about, is new beginnings.
Yeah.
How is a new beginning? And this is a great episode, a great podcast to discuss all that. The new moon conversations that we're having with other people in this pandemic. And now we know we're shutting down again. There's places that are shutting down again. Having that conversation, mental health, we discussed it already in past episodes. Health and wellness, having that discussion about our mental health, having the talks with other people to keep you grounded. This new moon's really spiraling us into a new vibration. Hopefully it's spiraling all of you.
Mhm.
And, ways of thinking, new. COVID's given us all those examples of how are we going to think differently? How are we going to make ourselves move from here to here and not move from here underneath to here?
Honey, and well, that was well, it's going to be grand. I love seeing that because for the last 4 years, making America great again was they were trying to pull us back. So this time we feel it. I feel like our side did get charged up. It has activated so many of us, so much more. Because like I said, there is so much more work to do, but at least I can tell you that yes, everyone even around me, we are in a new phase, just like in the moon. We have, no matter what, we are not the willful ignorant, so we have no choice but to look forward and hold on to what we know it looks like, which is why it's like it's hard for us to go, how do y'all not understand? If you didn't like the first lockdown, all you had to do, they said it months ago, if America would have wore our masks for 6 weeks straight in the beginning, we wouldn't be at this moment. You know what I mean? But we are constantly fighting those who are trying to make us go back, who are trying to, and that's what it is. It's like, I love what they said. If you feeling putting on a mask is oppressing you, then you should really check your level of privilege. Like, and how we have to educate that side too, because there's so many people on that side that were like, my dad is sick, but I had to go see the president, and I had to, and you're like, but why? I need you to actually open up and say why.
Why is the administration have so many COVID cases? Yeah, so we're going to bring this back up to this new season.
East podcast.
Yeah. So that's the thing that I wanted to come on with and say, listen, like we all are good. We're all in a hard place. 8 months. How are you beginning again? How are you going to take the stories of somebody else? Granted, I don't know Amy. Amy's a friend of yours, but knowing that she's in this health service, it's great. It's a beginning for me to think about other people out in the world. So you can take any of this advice. It's from show business people, but you can take any of this advice because people in show business are the most resilient. I'm not saying they're the only resilient, so don't come for me. Show business people are resilient people. They're regimented. They are practiced. They are doers. So these people in the entertainment industry are people that are trying to make the next step happen for themselves. You're one of those people, Calvin. You were resilient. You said, listen, right now is not the time to be in New York City. So let's just gather the thought, gather the process, move it temporarily so that when the next phase opens up for all of you, you're ready. And I totally agree with that.
Because it's like I told everybody in the way that the pandemic never stopped my hustle. Because I am a bohemian. I love being on the road. I love traveling, but I always, of course, oh, wow, we're bigger now.
It happens. It happens.
Just like, I see, newbie, I need to learn technology. But it's like, it hasn't stopped my hustle because, that's why I say I'm not moving home. I literally said I'm moving my headquarters home. My ring light, you'll get to see a new background, but it's just like, this is going to continue to help me get out. As much as I love Virginia and I love being with my mom, it's one of those beautiful things of like, I look at it like being on tour. When I was in Richmond with Finding Neverland, I stayed at my mom's house. Like, I was like, I'll drive 45 minutes up the road every day and make the best of both worlds, so that's how I'm looking at it. I'm looking at it also in a matter of weeks because like you said, look at it. We went from, okay, it's March. All right. It's March. Yo, it's November.
Yo, March said, I'm the longest month of the year. March 14th.
Yo, let's talk
March
about
14. I was like, why is March 67 days long? And then March said, I have the 30th, and I think there was 31 days. I could be wrong, but March said, F all of you. I'm going to be the longest month of this entire year. So then March, then I'm going to take over April, May, June, July, August, September, October, now November. So March has now been 8 months long.
Do
March
you remember
15 more days.
Do you remember on your podcast, because you called, we talked in the middle of it, like how that Thursday it was like, oh well, I'm no longer on Broadway right now. We need to take a break to Monday. TJ, oh my God, there's a guy, he has COVID. I have to stay in quarantine. They told us to talk to them. They're saying that the 30-year-olds are okay. He turned 37 today and he's sick. And oh my, like you remember, I was like, this went from a hookup to 90 Day Fiance. Like, I literally had to stay at his apartment. I saw COVID firsthand, and somehow, by the grace of God, have no antibodies. I remember, like literally telling you, I was like, oh, I'm gonna just go to this guy's house because we've been talking for a bit, and I was like, okay, we're gonna take a second because, for me at first, we were in the middle of tech. And I mean, in the middle of previews, we had 3 previews. I made that Broadway debut, was so happy, but it was like, okay, well, I'm gonna take this time to rest because, I was happy to not be at work during the beginnings of this because I was like, that's when we're the most like vulnerable because we're exhausted and, we're meeting so many new people and there's so many people that we rely on from outside of New York City to fend for, to bring us, to do what we get to do, to bring messages and stories to them.
What everybody doesn't understand is that there might be only 20 people on stage, but there's 200 people backstage. Like, that's a small percentage of what happens on stage. And all of those people encompass entertainment,
Yes, like, I love to tell everybody, I always go, what you see on stage, that's cute choreography. You should see the choreography backstage. Like, I love, one of my favorite things about, like, what I miss about our job, it was the fact that it was those relationships of your dresser. And like, every time you go off stage, you're like, oh, me and Sean, I put this arm in and I'm singing, la, 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 and they're flipping. And then you get used to seeing each other every day and you check in and you're just like, hey sis, how are you feeling today? And it was just like, I told everybody, I was like, I was very thankful when they said, okay, leave right now. When the first thing they did was no more signing of playbills just to try to add some safety. So, I love that we were working it though. They were like, sign these playbills now. So then that way we can hand them out because people were understanding. They were, it sucked. But we were already trying to do our best. We were already there, already ready.
There is a lack of appreciation sometimes, and I don't necessarily think that you guys. None of this is like scripted on the topic of all of this, but there's a lack of appreciation sometimes that people don't see that come to the theater. We're used to being in front of an audience.
Yeah.
So people think the things that are in front of them, it's like an iceberg, Though what happens on top of the water, you see. But the portion underneath the water that you don't see is still relevant. It's still important. Those people, those individuals that make that happen are equally as important. Because without the person that's running the lights, without the person that's running the scenery, without the person that's running the audio, without the person that's running backstage cues,
honey, especially
they be dancing in our living rooms, which we're all doing right now because we have to.
One of my favorites is like, I just love IATSE. Like, shout out to that union. Like, I can't tell you how many times they saved me. Like, I'm all like 5, 6, I'm thinking that I'm on my number, and they're literally letting us know that, like, yeah, we needed them just as much as, you know what I mean? Like, we need them. There are moments like,
that guy is so right. We would not have a full show without these people. We would be dancing at a talent show on a not country, because that's not country. At a county fair somewhere where, we would give like a cassette tape to somebody to press play. Even that person not press play.
Because otherwise they'd be like, hit play and run your ass to the front.
Hold on one second.
every entrance would be coming from in the house.
And all of you know, right now, in your house, when you're creating classes, I just did it. I just came out of a class. I was my sound technician. I was my lighting person. I was my audio technician. I was my IT department. Like, you run your own class. So you have to do all those things. Hello, somebody. We're learning.
Come on with this hello, somebody.
We're learning on the fly, right?
Yeah.
New beginnings. We have to transform ourselves in the new beginning. You just have to do it.
Yeah.
So we've got new moves. We were having new conversations with ourselves, with other people, new ways of thinking. I'm getting this new podcast going. We're new beginnings. I think that's my like my motif for 2020. I've decided new beginnings. You can create your own life. You can create a new beginning for yourself.
Honey, 2020 broke us down, girl. It said, look at, like, what is it? I love that one that said 2020 is about look at what you have, not what you don't have.
Correct. We have, well, hopefully, 250 plus thousand people know have their life because of this. You know,
it's one of the things that I love about that too is like also think about it for folks like us, many like us. We've actually lost physical people.
Like a lot.
Girl.
It's sad. It's so sad, you know? And it's sad to think that there's people that don't realize that.
Mm-hmm. And that's fine.
This many people, 250,000 people are gone. Gone.
Gone, honey.
That's somebody's mom, dad, brother, sister, uncle, aunt, child. So that's that many people.
Yeah.
And I know Amy brings up a really good point about all that. It makes your blood boil that you can sit on a plane. We know. You know, we're in that industry. We know you can sit shoulder to shoulder with somebody on a plane, but the guidelines are not the same when it comes to a theater.
But I'll tell you this, I'm actually fucking thankful because I said, oh, you couldn't ask me to show up on that stage if y'all were packing theaters right now like an airplane, because the fact that, for instance, so the person that I took care of at the peak of when it was coronavirus, because remember that's when I was talking to you, I was like, this is coronavirus, and like 3 days later they finally named it COVID-19. But I said, I was like, I was about to say his name, but we'll say Jay. You know, he's from England and he was flying home for his birthday week to spend time. And this was right when England was about to close the borders and Trump was putting restrictions. So they literally turned around in 24 hours. And he said on the way there was like 19 people on the flight, which was another reason why they were like, oh, let's go. Because, you know, they dropped all the prices. And he was like, I can go safely. It's just him and 9 of his friends. And they turned around and literally stayed in the airport. And on the way back, it was packed. And then that's when they got home that Sunday, that Monday, his symptoms started. So that's why I told folks, I go, we truly will never know the full what do you call it? Like severity of COVID, because it does hit different. Because that's another thing too. It's like, I love listening to the people who scream, there is a 99%, 97%, whatever chance to survive. And I go, but there's still a margin of folks who don't.
Those 250,000 people that have not. That's the percentage that we need to be most cognizant of.
Dude, so that's why it's like, I literally do not understand how I do not have antibodies. I've been tested so many times. I went blood. I was like, come on, get in the blood. Let's see. Because, you know, they were like, maybe you can donate plasma. And when I was FaceTiming with his doctor, I was just like, no, I don't feel anybody. You know, they were checking me just through the phone. When we were able to go outside and go to that, I was like, I don't have antibodies. They were just as shocked. And I slept next to him every day. Every day.
I know, you did. It was crazy. I will say this. It's terrifying. But there's something in that general area that saved you from all of that. It really
I'm
is.
protected. You want to talk about spiritual? Girl, I already know I'm protected by so many guys, honey. Thank you. My egoons got me, boo-boo.
Yes. And Becca, you are correct. There are relationships in the theater, regardless of on land or on ships. And don't come for me when I say this. They are equally the same. If you work on land and you work on ship and somebody tells you they are different and there is a hierarchy for all of that, that's baloney. I'm going to shut it down now.
Baloney!
Baloney! Yeah? They are still performing, okay? Those relationships that you have with backstage people, with the person that gives you or changes your costume,
oh no,
you will never have that relationship with anybody else.
When you have that tight ass costume from think about Stage and Screen, and that's one of my favorite shows, and you have sweated and sweated, and you are going from spandex to more spandex, and the wetter you get, the harder it is. You've got the ship. I used to love when you would just feel the hands balance your hips, and you're just like, thank you. So like that bond, it really does matter because you literally have about 23 seconds.
4 seconds.
Like, and exactly. And them 23, half of those seconds was you getting off the damn stage. Like,
yeah.
Like
you're 4 seconds. And you could have 3 seconds to tip over like a cow, or you could have somebody holding your hips. What's going to happen? That person's going to hold your hips. Guess what? That person next to me, behind me, I don't care if they're a man or a woman, that relationship's never going to happen again.
That's how I got so comfortable being naked. I had all this fur coming out my dance belt, booty girl. I was like, you going to see it today. You going to actually see it for the next 8 months.
You can see them an hour later, and they will have zero tolerance.
Because they ain't even looking at you for that. They got jobs to do.
That's a job. You have a job. You're going to get out there. I don't care if you're, well, this is pre-COVID, everybody, don't drag me. If you have a sinus infection, get out there. You're going to go out there.
I miss the days we could sneeze recklessly in public.
I know. But you're wearing a mask, so you can sneeze it. But you also can cover your expression from everybody else. So when people are crazy, I will tell you this. I ordered Chinese food last night with my mom. I drove my mom, and she got out of the car, and she waited outside. I saw this man, and Amy, you might appreciate this. I saw this man in this restaurant with no mask on. My mom said, oh, no. My mom's 61 years old, I think. My mom could be 62. Somewhere in there.
So I'm over here, Amy. So Amy says, when I was on ships, I used to work front of house for cats. I'd wait in the same spot every start of the show so I could make sure that I was clear for Calvin, which is, baby. So Amy.
You clap your ass on the way down the high. Yeah, of course.
Anyway, because.
But you have to agree. That becomes routine.
It was routine because, and the best thing about it is, it's like, it's the fact that there was not one person who was like, well, this actually isn't my job. This isn't my job. Because, Amy wasn't on ships to guard the aisle, but it was one of the things that since she worked the aisle, but like, yeah, and that's my
you start that.
I pop
you
up
start that.
Huh?
And then you can't let it go.
You can't let it go.
And then you think, oh shit, if I don't have that ass slap, what am I gonna do?
My show be missing. I'm like, wait, no, that's the thing was, it was so appreciative too, because it's so much beyond well, I'm a performer and you're not. No, every part mattered. We kept the show going. So Amy was every much as part of the show as I was, even though I'm in makeup and she wasn't. No, she literally had to keep that. Because if you haven't seen Cats traditionally done, then we enter from the house, from all over. And so Amy could see when they knew also, we let them know. We're like, oh, we're coming from, there's 4 cats this way. The fact that she took the time to know, to pay attention, to know, because that's the thing. It's like, yeah, you built. So not only do you have a back of house relationship, you have a front of house relationship. Like, And it was just, everybody is so important. We got to get back to caring. We got to get back to caring.
Thank you. We have to get back to caring. It doesn't matter what you're doing.
Yeah.
Caring for each other, caring for your neighbor, caring for your friend, caring for the person next to you, you know? And I'm a firm believer, you and I both, we're firm believers of masks, you know? It will help. It's my mom, it's my aunt, it's my nephew, even young people, you know? It's these people. Yes, I take vacations and yes, I do things, but I try to do them as safely as I can.
Hell yeah. Like literally.
And when that means somebody else is jeopardizing that, then going to the extreme of the opposite of what they're doing is the appropriate thing. So like I said, my mom was not going into a restaurant because somebody was in a mask. And I could not agree more with her. And when that person came out, it's like looking at them weird. Like now that you're not wearing a mask, all you non-mask wearers, come at us. Tell us why. Amy said this before. She says, there are people that can't wear a mask. I agree with you. There's some sort of lanyard you have to wear, she said, and you have to go about all of this stuff. But for the health and safety of so many people, you have to do that. And that's our industry at its finest has to come back. People have to do this. We're the first industry that lost its place in the world, and we're going to be the last industry to come back because of this stuff. And it's not a ploy for to tell people they have to do it, but to make these things enjoyable for everybody, to get back to seeing these people on stage, to get those 200 people that are behind you, standing, supporting you, lifting you up, for those 20 people in front of the stage so you can watch them.
But you know what I will tell you? I will tell you, though, the blessing in this burden has been the destruction of terrible institutions, or at least the waving of that smoke and mirrors and nah, we see you now. We see you. And it's the one thing I tell everybody, I was like, if you haven't worked on cruise ships, then of course I understand why you might not know, because you never dealt with the norovirus. Watching how fast that spreads.
Yes, you bring up such a good point. And this is I will go on a little limb and say this about cruise ships. Cruise ships have always had an infectious disease plan in place.
Oh, always.
So anybody out there that says cruise ships don't know how to do this, I will disagree with you on this.
Us dealing with anti-maskers is the same way that we do. Ma'am, no, I'm a serve you. No, ma'am, I'm a serve you. I just can't touch it. No, because I'm trying to protect you. They don't get it. They would never get it. And then
I want to pause real quick because Amy, I want to make sure your thoughts are said correctly. She understands that there is an exception, but if your medical condition states that you cannot wear a cloth mask on your face for the 10-minute duration of being in a store, you're too unwell to be in the middle of a pandemic. Stay at home and stop putting other people's at risk. So that is what I didn't want to throw Amy under the bus about saying anything about, wearing a mask or anything. She's totally agree. She agrees that if you cannot wear a mask, there should be other ways of going out during this pandemic, and maybe that's staying at home. Maybe that is staying at home. But to get us to this next new beginning, we all have to do something. Take part. Sorry, go ahead. We were talking about a pandemic. We were talking about being cruise ships and about norovirus. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, but I was just saying, that was just a little thing, because that's what it is. It's we've dealt with that. I mean, it's I used to not look forward to it, but anytime we had to do Super Saiyan, I was like, I got the Ghostbuster pack. I want to spray down every seat. I love watching the amount of work of watching the housekeeping team, the way that they would work. So the way that they could flip the theater so fast.
Yeah.
Like when we were doing Cats, like you had the amount of streamers, drinks, food, people's clothes, purses, stuff. How many times have we dealt with people who would mess themselves sitting in the theater? Like it happened, but how fast and how we took it serious. Like you literally, like to watch norovirus happen firsthand, and you're like, this all came because someone didn't wash their hands first of all after pooing. I'm gonna need y'all wash your hands, and then you start to watch though. You watch them go pale. You watch for 3 days they're taking out. I remember when I was doing install on the Westerdam, and our band happened to have 3 6'3" band members.
Okay.
The way that those big men were knocked down in 3 days, because I remember it was like I was sitting there because you're going quarantine. Yeah, it's that serious. Like I remember when my roommate at the time was in the infirmary, and they called me and they're like, Calvin, have you experienced this? You know, when you be rolling your eyes, you're like, no, I don't got no diarrhea. Now my stomach don't hurt.
Oh, let's pause real quick. So Calvin and I are gonna do. We're working on our next season, and we're talking about cruise ships. Okay, everybody.
Oh yeah, that's what I tell me that.
No, we're discussing because we both worked on cruise ships. A lot of our friends worked on cruise ships, so you guys can all chime in. But we're going to discuss maybe on our next season of our podcast, talking about cruise ships. But what did you just say?
No, I was laughing at myself because I was like thinking. I was like, I'll put the who and whore because all my stories were about me being a whore.
No, we got plenty of stories about cruise ships. But knocking down, norovirus. So, and talking about people getting knocked down left and right. Yeah, you learn about it. So when you walk on a cruise ship, you learn about norovirus. You know how to control it. You know how all these things. So cruise ships know how to do this. All right, they have codes. They have yellow, red, orange, all these things. So all of the people that think that cruise ships don't know how to do it, they can't. But here's the thing: if you don't do your part, they can't do their part. Okay? If you don't wash your hands, there's nothing to say that poop in your mouth is not going to make you do it.
Oh, okay? My favorite is like the way we see certain people who are like, not going against it and not doing their part. It's like, how many times, because the level of cases got so big on the cruise ship, we had to skip a port that we were not allowed to dock because I would just say the country that we were docking was like, no, you do not get to get off. You do not get to bring that to our shores. You do not get to, and we're all like, I've been at sea for 18 fucking days.
No, you know why? Because you can't wash your hands.
Because you can't
wash your hands. We had a friend.
I will tell you just a sneak peek though. I'll tell you how I love how that virus will out everybody's business though.
Okay. Yes, it will. Here we go. Amy, I'm gonna air it for you. Sorry, to make it clear, I meant no offense. No offense taken here. I don't think anybody meant no offense. I mean, people whose health condition, breathing conditions, mean they can't wear a mask, therefore making them more vulnerable, susceptible to viruses, not only catching it by passing it on. Could not agree more, ma'am. Could not agree more. Thank you for chiming back in.
That's my friend. That's my best friend.
I will never let anybody hang for that. Yeah. So.
And the thing about it too, especially though, here's my thing. As we have progressed with more knowledge and how and more PPE type wear, it's like, well, yeah, if you can't wear a mask, then great. They've got face shields. Why haven't we, and I say we as the person who's like, I can't wear my, then do the other stuff. They've got the masks or they've got the clear things. They've got all
they have Instacart. They have so many things. I mean, I'm not all for there's other things out there that can help your life become easier. And we've also, those are new beginnings this year. Like those things have really helped a lot of people. And I could not be happier with the way that people have risen out of this, like out of ashes. People that thought, okay, Amy, you're in the UK about this. Here's something that I thought we needed to have in the United States since 2010. Why are restaurants taking your credit card from you to a back room? I never realized why that was so important or why this was so important to not do that. People in Europe have it down. They bring a card reader to your table, you insert, you do your bing bing bang. Everybody tips differently. 20% is always great. Bing bing bing, and you sign and you pull the card out and you go.
Oh, look, I'll tell you this though. You remember, okay, so you know how we both used to work at Bear Burger?
You guys, we both work in the same restaurant.
Yeah.
Our kitchen, 46 between the 8th and 9th.
Mm-hmm. Well, what they do now, what I love though, because it's not every restaurant, because yeah, it is like, I hope that some of these restaurants get a chance to move forward and let this be the thing. When you go sit at Bear Burger, because it's all on the outside, you scan the code and the menu comes up on your phone.
Okay, no, that's a thing right now.
I love that. Like
QR codes need to stay in America, and you know what else needs to happen? They need to bring the credit card machine to you.
And they do that with Bear Burger too. She'd be like, "Are you ready? Here you go." And I'm like, "Hi."
If we're moving backwards, there's a reason why we're moving backwards. There's no good reason why we're moving backwards. All right? We need to be moving forward. We need to be getting to these people, yeah? We need to be credit cards, need to be coming to the table.
Yeah.
Quick, efficient. No contactless, less contact. Apple Pay at grocery store. Marissa, I could not agree more. You know what?
I was going to say, but there are some stores catching that. They are now catching up. And my bodega,
why did Target, why did a Walmart need to wait till this pandemic to make that happen? You have Apple Pay on your phone. Why are these institutions waiting till the pandemic? If we move backwards, we can't. I can't go there.
Hell, even Apple was smart. Remember, you just download the Apple Store, you go in, scan it yourself because you're the only one who touched it, pay for it, and walk out the store.
Germaphobes, because they're germaphobes. Marissa, I don't understand it, right? Even at gas stations, hallelujah.
Marissa!
I went to a gas station the other day. You know what? I felt safer, Marissa, because I didn't have to put my credit card in there. I didn't have to check if somebody jerry-rigged this mechanism. I just scanned my phone. I got a paper towel, put my password in, and then put the paper towel in the garbage. Got another paper towel, got the little thing, put it in my thing, put the little thing on, stood back, right?
Yeah.
Amy, okay, you're in Europe. Here's the thing. I just went to a drive-thru today. I don't eat meat, so I don't go to any of the other things. But here's what I did today. I went to Dunkin' Donuts. I got a $2 latte. I fill up my card. Anybody else at Dunkin' Donuts? Tell me, are you Dunkin' Donuts? Are you a Starbucks?
Well, I have to stop.
Okay, hold on 1 second. Don't come for me just yet.
Who?
You.
Me? No, I said I just had to stop.
Okay.
I just had to stop. I was like,
I load my card and then I show them the QR code that takes out the money. So I don't have to give them a card. Now this pandemic is in place. I'm not trying to have other people like.
And you about to get brown juice on top of that? Ooh.
Yeah. Where did that come from?
Hot bean juice.
All right. So that's
also, hold on, let me say this really quick. Hi, wifey! Marissa's my wifey.
Amy, you don't have Dunkin' Donuts there?
Girl, they don't have a lot of things there. And that's good, because a lot of things that we have is illegal over there anyway.
Well, Starbucks should be illegal.
Well, there's a lot that should be illegal, but.
Amy, you come here, me and Calvin will take you to Dunkin' Donuts, all right?
I will not.
I know. Marissa, she says hi, she loves you.
I know, that's my baby. I love my Jessica. But yeah, you want to move on to what else we could chat about?
Should we make a new session about that?
What? Wait,
Yeah.
what? Oh,
Should
my
we-
section. Go
Yeah.
into me now? Oh, you trying to go into me?
Should we? No.
You be so blessed in the
So we talked about new vibrations. We talked about your new journey temporarily back home. We talked about new projects. We talked about making new memories, having this whole, I am so thankful I should be there this Christmas.
if it hadn't been for COVID.
Oh,
Uh,
no.
Girl, have y'all seen the clips of the Christmas tree?
Everybody, go look up the new
But let's just also say though, I feel like the only reason why people are on that tree right now is because when have you actually ever really paid attention to, though, the beginnings of and the makings of what they do for that tree? You know what I mean?
Well, let's just hold so in a couple weeks, you guys, we're coming back with our last episode of the season. So we decided it was going to be eight episodes, and this last one's going to be finales. So we're going to tie up a whole bunch of things. We are going to bring you pictures of the final product of the New York City Christmas tree, okay? So it is looking Charlie Brown style right now, okay? So we're going to come back. We're going to discuss if this Christmas tree is New York worthy. Because guess what? There's going to be no tourists. There's no tourists coming. Well, not no. There's going to be very few tourists. There's no Rockettes. Christmas is basically canceled, okay?
We're about to have the Thanksgiving Day parade, though.
You're going to have a Thanksgiving Day parade, but without any viewers or spectators, okay?
I don't know. There's always people outside.
They canceled Christmas. And who knows who they are, but they canceled Christmas. And they is Macy's, all right? Macy's in charge of Santa Claus. All right, you guys. Calvin, we will come back at a later date to give you the time that you deserve for your other thing. Is that okay?
Why? You didn't mind? I love talking for 525,600 minutes.
You guys, thanks for sticking with us. We were just talking smack before you guys got on about somebody who's been on for 2 hours.
No, and you see, I was going to say that because I was like, I think it's so funny when I was like, don't be hating on them just because they got things. Here we are. Honey. Like,
We're going to come back. Calvin has a good segment. It's called Calvin's Current Credits. He's got a lot of things because we bypassed a lot of them. So you guys come back. Stay with it. We're gonna come live again so that he has his ample amount of time so we can discuss with him. Amy, thanks for chiming in.
My babies, my besties,
love
all
you.
of y'all.
Marissa, Michonne, we love all of you. We're gonna leave you guys today thinking about new beginnings for yourself. What's new going to be for you? Of course, 2021. Hopefully, guess what? COVID's not going to be over. How are you going to transition into 2021? What's your new thinking? What's your new vibration? What else are you going to be bringing into 2021 that can help you through all this? All right? Well then, I appreciate all of you. I can't wait to get another reading from you and your amazing tarot cards.
Thank you.
Yes, you can follow all of us. There's me. That's where me. All of my things, and that's where you can find Calvin.
And you will find all my handles on here as well.
Yeah.
There you go. I'm trying to point to you. There we go. Why am I being awkward?
That's you. You know what? Because our cameras are off here. High five.
Wait, this way?
Yeah.
Oh, we did it.
We love all of you. Thanks for chiming in. I mean, we didn't think this was going to be this long, but it's a new beginning.
Yeah.
We love all of
you.
We love all of you. We'll see you next time. Again, chime in for Calvin's Current Crave in a couple of days, all right? We'll see you guys soon.
Thanks for joining us. Make sure to subscribe, like, and follow TidalWave on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. TidalWave is produced in conjunction with Ease Podcast. You can find Ease Podcast on all major podcast platforms.